Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Journey of Gospel Music in the Middle Belt, brought to you by Shield Initiative. Very shortly, I'm going to be having with me a prolific poet and the founder of Crossword Poetry and Art Hub, Pastor Barrel. You may be wondering, poetry, music, what does poetry have to do with music? Well, stay tuned.
Hello everyone, I am super excited to be here today to discuss the journey of gospel music in the Middle Belt with Shield. And I think that this is something I'll be really excited to share with you all. My name is Barrel. I'm a pastor and a creative, actually a multidisciplinary creative. What that means is that I do a lot of art forms. I am a poet, I write and I perform poetry, and not just that, I do music also. So a lot of times I do these things in fusion. I'm also into theater and then also graphics designs. All right, so I do a lot of art and I find a way to fuse all this in, and I hope to have a great time with you. See you in the interview room.
Are you a musician and you're domiciled in Benue, Kogi, Kwara, Nasarawa, Niger, Plateau, or the Federal Capital Territory? Then this is for you. I'm talking about the journey of gospel music in the Middle Belt. It's a platform that seeks to influence gospel music in the Middle Belt using knowledge and excellence as a tool. Here, focus is on the mindset. Over the years, I've had the passion for good music, which has lingered for so long and at last has found its place for expression. So, subscribe to my YouTube channel as I bring to you episodes of impactful and interesting chat sessions with a host of successful gospel musicians and consultants. Also, do well to like, share, and comment on videos. It's Shield Initiative. It's a pleasure to have you here, Pastor Barrel.
Anytime, bro.
Thank you so much for honoring my invitation.
No problem.
All right, so let's go straight into business. Yeah.
Right.
So earlier on, I made mention that you are the founder of Crossword Poetry and Art Hub. So I would like us to start with that first. So
All right.
Can you tell us what is Crossword all about?
Okay, Crossword is a community, right, for young creatives, people who love to express themselves with whatever art they want to use. But basically, we use storytelling, poetry, and music.
Okay.
Right? Those are the basic art forms that we use to express. And the beautiful thing about it is we're not just expressing art. We are actually here to give answers to basic problems of society,
okay,
right? Like real life issues. We don't want to have creatives who just want to vent,
yeah,
right? Or just want to spew emotions, yeah, all right? But we want people who really are determined to lead thought, all right? And who really want to voice solutions to local problems. Yeah. Right, so this is why I got up and said, okay, let us have an art hub, right, where people are going to be able to express themselves, okay, but at the same time, they are expressing themselves in order to solve issues. Okay. Okay, so these are people who are up to date, yeah, and actually they've done their homework, not just in the arts, but also are opinion leaders in their own rights. Okay. So they can actually use their art to actually solve issues.
Okay, so I wouldn't be wrong if I say that the major pointers in your community is poetry and music, that is with other arts involved,
yeah,
right?
Well,
so I would what do you have to say about that, first of all?
All right, I think that for me, I'm a poet, yeah, right? I've been writing and performing poetry for a long time, all right? But I have not done it independent of other art forms.
Okay.
Right. I do a lot of singing
Right.
and song arrangement, composing and arranging. And I've seen that music is such a companion
Okay.
for poetry.
Okay.
Right. When you want to do poetry, there's a lot you want to do with music at the same time, because poetry helps to balance emotion, helps to voice the emotion for music.
Okay.
Right, in a lot of ways. That's how I see it. So if there's a lot that music says with melody,
Okay.
that poetry does not have the luxury of. So a lot of times poetry wants to introduce music, right, or have accompaniment of melody. Okay, so that's why we are having not just poetry or storytelling, but having musicians come work together with poets. And it's always such a beautiful environment when you see them do these things.
Okay, so I just hope that this is not going to be a repetition of question, yeah.
All right.
Because one thing that makes what you do unique is your fusion of music and poetry, and the case study here is music, yeah.
Yeah.
So I would like you to tell us what uniqueness has your poetry brought into music.
I think when you talk about the uniqueness of that my poetry brings to still my music,
Yeah, let's
really, because okay, what I'm going to say may kind of not look like uniqueness per se, but let's start with the word bond.
Okay.
Right? Let's start with relationship.
Okay.
And when you're talking about the bond, first of all, of my music and my poetry, you are talking about source then, right? Because it's the same source, literally.
Yeah.
It's the same source. But then it is not always my music and my poetry. Sometimes it's my music and someone else's poem, or my poem and someone else's song, right? For instance, or accompaniment of music somehow.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're going to say that the bond is such, like I explained earlier, that poetry helps give a voice to music.
Okay.
And music helps in so many ways to magnify the emotional standpoint for whatever you are voicing with your poetry.
Okay.
Right. So for me, I think the uniqueness there lies in my own unique voice as a performer. Okay. So what message exactly do I have to share is what uniqueness my poetry has to give to the music. Okay. So you have music of different genres, and you have poetry of different genres too. But there is where poetry and music collide. For example, you have contemporary forms of poetry like jazz poetry. You know that naturally, in fact, hearing that, you already know that it has something to do with jazz music, right? Because it has the influence of jazz music. There is hip hop, which is a form of poetry, but at the same time a form of music, right? So all this is embedded in a certain culture, right? And you would see that in history, right? Throughout history, poetry has had to spring up at some time from people's pop music, right? You see that there's a lot of characteristics, a lot of character that is shared, right, between both forms of art. So basically, the uniqueness is a bond, right? It starts with a bond, and at the end of the day, it ends with the unique message of the performer or the artist.
Okay. So bringing this down to the scope, middle belt. You've been doing this in an area that is within the middle belt for some time. So I would like to know what progress have you seen that your community or what you have brought to the table has made so far?
My city, Makurdi. Sorry, I'm from Akwa Ibom, but stay here for a while or more. I've become one with it.
Good to know.
Oh boy, someone said that they should give me a free land in this place. I've stayed here for more than 20 years now.
Of course,
so
you deserve it.
I should be a
Like a
landlord.
merit award.
Okay, but really, I was going to say that my city, Makurdi, is a land full of art.
Yeah.
Right, and if you are very conversant to that history, you will know that we have a long tradition of theater, of music. Poetry really was not before I came on board and started up Crossword. Poetry did not have that strong voice, right? And that was one of the reasons why I started up Crossword Poetry.
Okay.
Because I discovered that a lot of the reasons why poetry was not really standing up in the mainstream was the fact that a lot of people are not very articulate with the art of poetry.
Yeah.
Right? Poetry seemed to be, I'm using the past tense now because I'm working it intentionally. Poetry seemed to be an elite art.
Yeah.
And it is not. It is not in that sense that it was made to be, right? Every art is elite, right? But poetry seemed to be only for the schooled, the well-schooled, and those who can afford a certain amount of money and want to chill out. You just go sit in a place where you spend a lot of money, right, to gain access to, and then listen to big grammar and all that. But poetry is way more accessible than that, should be way more accessible than that. So I gathered this group of creatives who believe with me that they can actually do poetry in very creative ways that can relate to even the, now I'm not talking down on the profession, but even the vulcanizer on the road, right, can understand poetry to the barest minimum of language, the simplest unit of language. And I believe that is something that I'm intentional about adding up to the industry, right? So you asked what, please say it the exact way you said it again.
Okay, I was talking about the progress you've made so far.
Okay, yes.
What you brought to the table.
All right. So the progress I've made so far is that I know it's such a short time, though I started doing events from 2017, that's like 6 years now.
Wow. 6 years.
Oh boy, 6 years is 6 years is such a small time, right? But we started Crossword in 2020, and between now and then, I really wouldn't want to start measuring the progress I've made. But if you're going to call this progress, then let's say that our monthly events, which we started holding every month since last year's August, has really had tremendous success. Reason being that I got testimonies from people who didn't believe that they could sit for 2 hours listening to poetry. You get? People could just come, sit down, young people, you get, especially in this, what's it called again? Gen Z, right?
Gen Z generation.
Gen Z, that sounds so much like Jay-Z. Sorry, don't mind me. It's poetry. Too much poetry in my head. You get? I think I'll go and write that down if I want to do the next.
I'll be in
you take
attendance.
I really think that that's progress for me, because I got feedback of people who felt like poetry is boring. They don't like poetry because they hate plenty grammar. You get? But if I'm going to do something that would appeal to the Gen Z, I should be able to use contemporary language.
Sure.
And that for us is something that we've been able to, it makes us better in our art. It makes us communicate more. It makes us gain results, because like I told you, we're not just out to vent. We're out to speak solutions, get ideas, converse with people, right, using our art. Right. And that for me is progress so far.
All right. Okay, so while I was thinking about bringing you on, my mind was just about this whole stuff, art, the whole stuff about art, because I've heard you so many times talking about art, music as an art, poetry as an art. So we know that okay, music is an art, poetry is an art, dance is an art, acting is an art, and other forms that we, the list is inexhaustible, right?
Yeah.
So I would like you to buttress on this thing called art. So what is your whole concept on this thing called art? Why the emphasis? Why your emphasis on art, and in relation to this music thing we do, poetry thing we do? Because the basis of our conversation today is music, poetry, and music influencing poetry influencing music. Yeah.
Which one? Okay, poetry influencing music.
Yeah.
Okay. I think let me start from there. When you're talking about art, you're talking about. I'll give a very simple analogy.
Okay.
Maybe it's not a full analogy, but let me just give a word that marries everything. I think every time I think about art, I think about beauty.
Okay.
Right? I believe that there are several ways to say a thing. Okay, because every artist is first of all, for instance, in the Nigerian situation, a citizen.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're first a citizen, and every citizen has something to say. Every citizen has a stake in decision making. So I believe that makes us to, in our own rights, have our own opinions about what was, what is, and what should be. Okay, so I think that there are many ways to voice this, but what art does is that art is any form of expression that says gives opinion or voices concerns in a way that is beautiful.
Yeah.
Right. For me, the word that marries every form of art is beauty. Okay, so I can easily. The president, for instance, is not an artist. He doesn't have time for melody.
Sure.
You get like he's not a preacher or rough.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
He doesn't have time for this. So he goes straight to the point, uses his teleprompter, and reels out his plans for the country. And then at the end of the day, he just wants to paint what the future will look like, and all that in plain speech.
Yeah.
But what a musician does with melody, he can use those same words and change them into lyrics.
Yeah.
You get?
Yeah.
A poet will use those same words and change them into verses. A dancer would create steps out of it. An actor, a thespian can, there's a way we interpret thoughts, right, in ways that would be very beautiful. So you see that you are already dancing to it before you discover that it is actually selling a thought.
Yeah.
Do you get?
Yeah.
So a lot of people already believe that there is a way you should dress, there's a way you should speak, there is something you should believe about politics.
Right.
The reason is their favorite musician said so.
True.
But he didn't come and make a broadcast like the president to just say it his own, in plain speech.
Yeah.
But he said it through his music. I think it was more appealing because he used melody. So it's sweet in your ears, it's beautiful in the eyesight if it's dance, it's beautiful in the eyesight if it's fine art, for instance, it's a painting, but we are able to lend our voices to the quality in very beautiful ways.
Wow. Man, this response is overwhelming. Like I'm just feeling like I feel everything is said. I feel everything has been said. So to wrap it up, what is that thing that you would have loved to say? Like that question you would have loved to answer that you were not asked?
Oh, really? I was depending on you for all the questions here, Shiv.
I always want to leave this out. Yeah, yeah. I always want to make this one out.
Okay, I think let me try to. I don't know if there's a specific question in mind of any young creative out there,
Yeah.
right? But let me just let me just deal with this. I believe that as a creative, the most important thing about your career is the fact that you are creative. You know what creative means? Creative is literally someone who finds a way where there's no way, first of all, and someone who finds another way. So first of all, when you get to writers, the point of writer's block, for instance, your ability to find ways out of that writer's block is what will determine a lot of times the progress, the next step in your career, right? So we all need to be mentored, we all need to be taught, we all need to be emerging artists, right? Not just limited to what is available right now. So a creative is always evolving, it's always emerging, it's always getting better. Sure. Like you don't want to be in the place where you are now in music.
Yeah.
In the next 1 month, for instance, of course, right? You have to keep growing. So I think that's what I would say to any creative out there who has an issue. I think we should grow. Should keep moving. Right. Look for better ways. There are people who are out there who have progressed in the industry beyond where you are now. Right. Where you are now is someone's dream. Where you want to be tomorrow is someone's reality right now. Yeah. Look for someone who has the reality. Right. And learn. Right. You keep learning.
All right. So thank you so much, Pastor Gabriel, once again for honoring my invitation. Man, it's been mind blowing having you here. So for more content, for more episodes, you can subscribe, you can like, and also comment on videos, and you should also share to your creative friends out there, for this knowledge to go all out, for this knowledge to go out there, right? So thank you.
Follow this guy.
Follow me. I know Rodo.
This is great.
All right. Thank you so much. All right, guys. So that was Pastor Barrel. Right. So while I just started, I guess a question that was in your mind. Music and poetry, was the relationship? I guess you got the answer now. And how was the response? Mind blowing, right? All right. So I can't wait to bring another episode to you. Do well to subscribe to my YouTube channel, like, comment on videos, and also share. Thank you very much. See you next time.